Accelerating down a track at speeds exceeding 625 miles per hour, John P. Stapp embarked on a perilous journey, risking his life to confront the impact of gravity on the human body. With prevailing skepticism, many believe this test to be fatal, as scientists deem anything surpassing 18 Gs to be potentially lethal. Join us on the intriguing exploration of the story of John P. Stapp, a man who not only challenged conventional beliefs but also placed his own life on the line in a relentless pursuit of understanding. On December 10, 1955, John P. Stapp found himself secured to the Sonic Wind 2, a rocket sled that would subject him to the most intense G-force recorded in deceleration tests up to that point, 46.2 Gs in a mere 1.4 seconds. You might wonder, why would someone willingly endure such extreme conditions? The answer lies in post-World War II era, marked by the development of powerful jet and rocket engines and streamlined fuselages. As airplanes achieved greater speed and distance, new challenges arose, especially in the realm of aviation safety. Stapp entered the U.S. Army Air Force on the 5th of October 1944 as a physician and as a qualified flight surgeon. He continued his work in aviation medicine post-World War II. On the 10th of August 1946, he was assigned to the Aeromedical Laboratory at Wright Field as a project officer and medical consultant in the biophysics branch, and transferred to the U.S. Air Force when it became an independent service in September 1947. His first assignment included a series of flights testing various oxygen systems on pressurized aircraft at 40,000 feet. One of the major problems of high-altitude flight was the danger of the bends or decompression sickness. Stapp's work resolved that problem as well as many others, which allowed the next generation of high-altitude aircraft and the halo insertion techniques. Recognizing the lack of knowledge regarding the human tolerance to factors like G-forces, rapid spins, oxygen deprivation, and radiation exposure, Stapp initiated a program to determine these limits. Heading the Aeromedical Field Laboratory at Holloman Air Force Base in the early 1950s, Stapp oversaw numerous tests, frequently enlisting volunteers. However, when confronting the challenge of G-forces, he chose to personally experience the conditions. It was commonly believed during that era that forces passing 18 Gs would result in fatality. To challenge this assumption, Stapp designed a rocket sled that propelled him at high speeds down a track, abruptly decelerating by passing through a trout of water. From 1947 to 1955, there was a total of 74 human runs on the rocket sled, but none were more famous than the Sonic Wind 1 and 2. Stapp made his first rocket sled test on December 10, 1954, named Sonic Wind 1, reaching a speed over 632 miles an hour and experiencing a deceleration force of 20 Gs. This groundbreaking experiment was to test the limits of human tolerance to high-speed deceleration. Building on the previous experiment, Stapp wrote another rocket sled named Sonic Wind 2, which occurred on the same date at December 10, 1955. It reached a maximum speed over 1,017 miles an hour, and he experienced a deceleration force of over 46.2 Gs. This test set a new record for human deceleration. However, John P. Stapp had some injuries occurred to him due to the test. The deceleration forces exerted on his body were intense, causing injuries to his eyes, resulting in bloodshot eyes and bleeding in the retina. Stapp's vision was temporarily impaired, and he also experienced other physical stress, including blood vessel rupture and bleeding. Despite these injuries, Stapp's determination to advance knowledge in the field of aerospace medicine and safety persisted. His work, including the Sonic Wind 2 experiment, significantly contributed to the understanding of human tolerance to acceleration and deceleration forces, led to improvements in safety standards for aviation and space exploration. Stapp had also made his mark in the space program with Project Manhigh. Project Manhigh marked a pivotal initiative propelling humans deep into the stratosphere using balloons, driven by the Air Force's limited interest in space exploration. The primary objective of the project was to study physiological and psychological effects of manned spaceflight at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. The three conducted tests, all remarkably successful, reached altitudes surpassing 96,000 feet. The data collected through the three balloon tests provided valuable scientific data on the psychological effects of high-altitude exposure, such as changes in blood pressure, heart rate, and respiration. This information was instrumental in understanding challenges that astronauts might face in space. Notably, Joseph Kittinger, a former test pilot turned high-altitude balloonist, participated in these tests and later played a crucial role in Project Excelsior. Project Excelsior was to investigate the feasibility of high-altitude ejections and to gather data on human reactions to survival mechanisms during free fall from extreme altitudes. Project Excelsior provided valuable biomedical data on the effects of high-altitude jumps in the human body. This information was crucial for development of escape systems for high-altitude aircraft and for understanding the challenges faced by astronauts during space travel. Joseph Kittinger, a U.S. Air Force captain, made 3 high-altitude jumps as part of Project Excelsior. The jumps took place in 1959 and 1960. The first 2 jumps were from altitudes of 76,400 feet and 74,700 feet, while the third and most famous jump was from an altitude of 102,800 feet. Joseph Kittinger fell for a staggering 13 minutes from the edge of space while also setting several records, including the highest parachute jump, the longest free fall, and the first person to exceed the speed of sound without an aircraft. He reached a maximum speed of 614 miles per hour during the free fall. In the 1950s and 1960s, Stapp advocated for the use of seatbelts as a means to reduce injuries in automobile accidents. Stapp's work in the field of acceleration and deceleration research, particularly his experiments on rocket sleds, provided valuable insight into the effects of high-speed impacts on the human body. His findings emphasized the importance of restraints in protecting occupants during sudden decelerations, such as in car accidents. Stapp was also a pioneer in the American space program and gained his recognition for his contributions to Project Manhigh. When NASA sought candidates for the Mercury program's astronaut selection, they turned to Stapp, relying on the instructions and physical tests he had developed. In an unexpected turn in 1949, Stapp became linked to the birth of Murphy's Law during a rocket sled test mishap caused by incorrectly wired sensors. Stapp emerged from the sled with bloodshot eyes and bleeding sores, making a memorable mark. If there are two or more ways to do something, and one of those results in catastrophe, then someone will do it that way. From ejection seat research and wind blast studies to high-speed visual perception, biomedical research, and deceleration and spinal injuries, including his own measurement known as Stapp, Stapp's multi-dimensional contributions continue to resonate in both aerospace advancements and engineering wisdom. John P. Stapp's legacy is vast and wide. He helped form the very space program that took us to the moon, to pushing his own body to the limit to help future pilots. He truly lived a long and wonderful life. John P. Stapp died peacefully in his house in Alamogordo, New Mexico on November 13th, 1999. What we can learn from his story is that to push the boundary to learn more, and not laugh at things just because they think it is impossible. John P. Stapp proved he knew to survive 18 Gs and more when most scientists thought he would die. So don't think something is impossible just because someone says this. Thanks for watching. Remember to stay open and stay curious.